Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another edition of Were They Helpful, in which we're going to be talking about a character from the series in which we believe that they're either helpful or not helpful, bringing you this decision, these ideas, and deciding for yourselves whether or not you agree with us or disagree. But before we begin, I'm going to introduce my special guest who really has become a regular on the show, and many of you should know who he is by now. But if you don't, go down below and check out his channel in the description and give him a subscribe. And his name is...
It is Geekdom, and yes, I helped Daffy Duck fulfill her dream as she took one for the team when I made her squeal and scream as I filled her full of cream 101.
I don't even know what to say after that, but
Best intro ever.
Absolutely, but we're going to be talking about today a character from the series who a lot of people might look at that title and they might say, really him? But honestly, I think that there's a lot of points that we could talk about that he was helpful, and that character is the much requested at this point, Yajirobe. And Yajirobe is a very interesting character. I mean, he is the samurai who loves to eat him some French fries, you know what I'm saying? So, we're going to send it over to Danny, who also loves things that are deep fried. What do you think so, Danny?
Yes, I love everything deep fried. That's why my life expectancy is quite short. Right. No, for the majority of the series, especially in Dragon Ball Z, which most of the audience is most familiar with Dragon Ball Z, Yajirobe is pretty worthless. He just pretty much is up there in Karin Tower, just chilling, eating Senzu all the time. But if there is a couple of parts in the series where Yajirobe is very helpful, and not only is he very helpful, but there is a time in the series where he is actually quite strong. Arguably the third or fourth strongest character behind Goku, Tenshinhan, Roshi, and actually in some cases he may have even surpassed them ever so slightly. When Goku first gets into a fight with Tambourine and ends up falling into the forest, he first meets Yajirobe there, and Yajirobe is pretty damn strong at that point, chopping up, who was it, Drum? It was Drum, right?
Drum, I think, is the one that Tenshinhan fought. I think it was Symbol?
Symbol, that's right, it was Symbol. He goes down there and he pretty much chops up Symbol and then eats him. Yajirobe was pretty damn powerful during that time. That was probably his most usefulness, but there's one other point in the series where I feel he might actually be slightly more useful. And that is, of course, the fact that Yajirobe is responsible for chopping off Oozaru Vegeta's tail. And to me, that was like the last stand for that character. Like, there wasn't much else he could have possibly done. It was Toriyama's great use of using side characters, which a lot of people have criticized him for. We never would have expected that it would be Yajirobe, of all people, who was delegated to a comedy character at that time, to be the one to actually save the life of Goku by chopping Vegeta's tail off and turning him back into a regular-sized, person or whatever. That, to me, is the best example of Yajirobe being useful. He did, in a roundabout way, save Goku, Gohan, and Krillin's life and the Earth. He did his part. And then the other example, if you want to even bring it up, is in Dragon Ball Z Movie 5, which was Cooler's Revenge in the dub name, where Gohan has to fly to Karin Tower to get Senzu, and Yajirobe gives Gohan the last Senzu. He's like, hey kid, gives him the last Senzu, so Gohan puts it in his pocket, and that's the one that they needed because the other Senzu was burnt up when Sauza shot the beam at it. So, again, 3 examples of Yajirobe being helpful. Other than that, he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, like, it's not like he was ever not helpful in the series, to be honest, because every time he actually does get involved, he actually does end up being helpful, when it actually comes down to providing support. And honestly, Yajirobe is a very underrated support character because, for example, after Goku fought Piccolo Daimao, he was, like, almost dead. He was on death's door, because he was just so tired.
That's right, and I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yajirobe drives him back. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then he climbs up Korin's tower and brings him there, and that's how they pretty much find out about the Senzu beans at that point.
And people say Yajirobe's out of shape, but he climbed Karin Tower, which most people can't even do.
While carrying Goku. And after that point, too, like, he also you'd just be the person who would bring people the Senzu beans at that point. Like, right before they fought the androids, he brought them the Senzu beans, and if he had not brought the Senzu beans, Yamcha would have died, and Yamcha would not have been able to tell everyone that they could absorb people's energy. So,
well, not just that, but also, is he not the one who told Krillin that Kami wanted to train them for the Saiyans? I believe
yes,
so, yeah.
Korin told him, so he flew over to, I believe, Master Roshi's place, and he told them, so Kami's going to give us some special training, and then, of course, he actually did help them to, spar while he was sparring. Now in the anime, it makes it seem like Yajirobe wasn't doing anything, but Yajirobe obviously ended up getting stronger to the point where he could provide some sort of help, because, again, he did cut off Uzaro Vegeta's tail, but then after that, Vegeta was going to kill them once again, and Yajirobe just, cut him, through his armor with the sword and dealt him even more damage. So, Yajirobe did really, come in, during the clinch to really help some of these people out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, no, very good point. I didn't even think about him driving them back. But to me, I do think that him chopping off Vegeta's tails in Ozaru was the biggest moment. In fact, when you see it in the anime, he cuts the tail and it's like the slow motion.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, did this really happen? And I do love how he's begging for life, and then Vegeta just nails him. And
he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll join you. I'm sorry. I'll help you out. I'll do whatever you say." And he starts beating the crap out of him. That was really funny. But
he tries to claim that the Z fighters were people that he trained. Very funny stuff. But other than that, think about it. After that moment when he saved them from Vegeta, he didn't do shit else.
Pretty much. He was mostly just a helpful character in Dragon Ball. And, of course, it was funny, the only tournament that he entered, he got beaten in the preliminaries by Kami, so...
Yeah, when he wore that Lucha mask.
Yeah, so, overall, I would have to say, in my personal opinion, that I think Yajirobe was very helpful when he actually contributed, but after that point, he mostly just spent all of his time up there with Korin, on his tower, and...
It was an easy way to write the character off.
Yeah, that's one of the issues that came out later in the series, that, people criticize Toriyama about his using of characters, after they become pretty much helpless, and I think that's mostly just because as the story developed, because early on, there were a lot of characters who definitely helped out, especially during the fight with Frieza. Everyone helped out. Just with the fight with Vegeta, everyone helped out, Obviously, Yajirobe didn't, but it just, characters became unutilized, and Yajirobe just sat up there in the tower eating, some beans with Korin. That's pretty much what his character became, but, other than that, it's not like he was really getting in the way. He was still very helpful, in my opinion.
Yeah, without question. That pretty much wraps it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, this was another edition of Were They Helpful, in which we were talking about Yajirobe, the Fat Samurai, I guess we could call him, I don't know. Tell us your own thoughts down below. Do you think that Yajirobe was actually helpful in the series? Do you think that, we were right, or do you think we were wrong? Also, if you have any other options or any ideas for Were They Helpful characters that you would like to tell us down below, don't forget to tell us down there. Let us know down below. Also, don't forget to check out Big D's channel, which I placed down below in the description, and you could see
a lot of stuff going on down below, I see.
There's so many things down there to...
including AIDS.
Yes, for you, baby. But...
no, for Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
This has been another edition of Were They Helpful, and there's a whole lot more to come in the future.
But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future, Luke.
I will finish what you started.
Yes.
Wow.
And you better subscribe.